Okay. So here's my bundle. Come on over. Right? So this is why I wanted you guys to add, when you're setting up, right? I want you guys to add another towel back here. So this way, when you, just like this, right? Somebody
did that the other
But anyway. So my bundle would be like this. I'll just open, right? Doesn't matter. You can do it here. You can do it up here. It doesn't matter where you want to do it, okay? So now I got all of these, right? This is why I want you guys to, when you're putting it over there, I want you guys to connect it so you don't have to do it now. So I have this, and then I'm going to take 2 of my lap pads, and then I will take my Edna's.
Or what?
Or Alice. Or Alice, right? Then I'll just do my bundle.
Okay for your end cover to be sticking out like that?
Yep.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's not a sterile drape, it's just so you can kind of keep your pieces all together.
Right? Is that good?
Yep.
But I always want to expose my blade because we don't know where. Right? Who set this up?
It was me. What's wrong with it?
Okay. So now,
She's just the other side.
okay. So now that I have this set up, right? What do I do first? Pull up, right? So that's my magnificent 7 starts, right? I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna stay in there for-
Doesn't matter, where you want.
Okay.
I'm easy like Sunday morning.
What was that?
I'm easy like Sunday morning.
This time I'm not saying that.
Alright. Walk up here, sir.
No, you're not supposed to, but. Okay, so you see, your first concern about pulling this up is the patient's feet, right? You see how closed that is? These things adjust, so please, please, please make sure that their toes are not under here, okay? So now what do I do?
Can you reach in here and check? Yeah, you can. It's
Right.
all sterile.
Okay, so I take my bundle, right, and I place it right here. Can anyone see this? Right? So now, I will use this towel as my base. I like that, actually. Okay? So, I'm gonna hand,
It's a very important job for surgeons to do, is to place life
Right.
ropes. Now, breaking the rule right here, you notice that? It's the only time you're allowed to do that. My hands are up over my shoulders. Only time you're allowed to do that is when you're messing with the lights.
okay? So now, number 2, right? So how do I do this? These cords, most of the time, they get tangled, they get knotted, right? So what I usually do is that if I'm gonna stand right here, hey Doc, where do you want your Bovie?
Oh, how about just right here?
Just here? Okay. So I know that the Bovie machine is over there, so I'm going to pass my cord down that way. So I will take it from here, and I will just kind of, I mean, there's no really specific measurement that I do. I just know that I just make sure that it's reaching the surgeon, and I give myself a little leeway. Okay? And then this one, I will just pass off.
Usually, well, your circulator may or may not be right there being attended to this. If you're the circulator, can you touch that without contaminating the field? Sure, by passing it off there, letting it fall, that's fine. If they're there to take it, you can put the end of it in their hand, that's fine too.
So, right, for this, you
Obviously.
want it there? So that's where I'll put it, right?
Where are we gonna put the,
And you put it, usually, this is a laparoscopic drape, so usually you don't have this thing.
they may be particular about where they want their scratch pad as well.
So the
A lot of-
scratch pad, it needs to be in a place where your either surgeon can get access to it or me. I don't like, personally, I don't like sticking it over here because these things can get lost and it's counted, right? I usually don't like putting it up here. A lot of people put it up here because again, the
That way-
stickies and everything else, it can get lost,
If I'm a
right?
surgeon, it's convenient for me though.
It's convenient for you, right? I usually put it here and just to be safe, I usually, so that, right, the surgeon can still, and I can, because I usually do this. This is usually my job. If the surgeon wants it here or here, what I normally would do is that I would stick it there, but again, I would use another clamp so that, you know, if he wants it in here, I will use another clamp so that it doesn't get lost. You know what I mean? Just to be on the safe side. Okay? So for, where do you want it? Where do you want your scratch?
You can leave it clipped on here, that's fine.
Okay. So I usually do that because that's just my own personal, right? And then these usually go in there. Then I take my suction. Right? Again, this is our field. So I go behind. Right? Before I let it go. I have enough room. So now what I do, I kind of, this is my own little thing. So I take both my cords, right? And I kind of create like a little pouch here for me. And then this little thing here, I kind of just place in here because I'm not gonna need it right now, okay? And then here's my okay, so it's neat, and this is where, then I go timeout. We're ready for a timeout.
Timeout, and you know all the things we talked about in timeout, so we're gonna identify the patient, at least 2 patient identifiers, sometimes more. Everybody's gonna go through the whole spiel, any allergies, any medications, are antibiotics been given, anesthesia, second gram of Vancef, and once the timeout is done, everybody agrees. Okay, so
I'm
we'll,
sorry.
What about your
That's-
ring
that-
stand
yes,
and your
that's
backpack?
it.
good for once.
Uh-oh.
Ah,
Uh-oh.
good point, you're right.
So, who's gonna do that? You can do that.
Circulator.
We're gonna expect you, for purposes of checkoff, we'll expect you
That's
to do
good.
it. You might have a really helpful circulator that'll do it for you.
You might not, right?
Might not.
You missed it, yeah, so number, I forgot because my circulator is supposed to be, have done this already, right?
Now, she's up here working, and I asked her for something that's not up here. It's convenient for her to grab it. Everything's right there. You watch your kick bucket. Where's the kick bucket in this room?
You know, that's fine.
Circulator? Can you help
It's
us
right here.
help us out?
Yeah, it's right here.
Right there in front of you, Matt.
So that should be over there.
About here would be a good place for your kick bucket.
So here, put it here, Matt.
Oh, I thought you said over
Trying to grab
there.
it from.
So we'll try
Okay,
to
so-
trick you up when we're doing this. We'll
We
try to
will,
get you
yeah.
to hand us a knife before we do a timeout. We'll reach for it. You give me a scalpel. I
Wait.
may even ask you for it. Give me a scalpel. You
No.
haven't done a timeout, you're like, I'm sorry, sir, we need to do a timeout.
Time out. So now, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then time out, and then 8 would be travel.
Go to town. Cut, cut, cut. Neutral zone. Thanks.
Who did that?
I think it's cracked right there.
Not it.
Need to throw it out. Get a new one. Yep. And then we'll Bovie, probably. A lot of dissection is done with Bovie. Your initial skin incision is usually done with a scalpel, but after that, it's usually Bovie.
And because of the Bovie smoky, I usually just
Right.
take out my,
Yep.
I usually just
That's
take
good
out.
practice, actually, the selection of smoke. There are some hospitals that have gone to what they call zero plume. Not too many of them done it, but it is a thing, a zero plume hospital. Smoke plume, we've talked about that. We'll talk about it some more, I guess. But there's different ways you can do that. They actually make a cautery that has a suction built into it. Most surgeons don't like it because it's got this thick cord on it and don't like it. It's kind of unwieldy. Or, like you said, you run the suction right next to it. They make an even bigger suction that's just for that. High performance suction evacuator.
Remember
You will
I
see
talked
that a
about
lot.
that suction evac?
You see that a lot with laser surgery, but some hospitals will even have it available for other things. I'm not saying it's common, but it does exist. So anyway, at that point, we would continue on with our surgery, which next week.
Passing instruments, right, those kind of things.
Yep. So you saw her pass scalpel, saw her pass pickup. I made my incision, done with that pickup. She's probably gonna hand me this cautery because she knows I'm gonna use it. I don't want that. Thank you. Cautery. And I'm gonna get, once I get down to a certain distance, I might want a retractor, a weedy.
That they forgot.
No weedy. We're gonna use weedies a lot. You're right, it's not.
No, I know, it's not, but there's no.
Yeah, I might ask for something for my assistant. So when we do this role play thing, we're gonna have a bunch of different roles. So the roles that you see here, we'll probably also have somebody that's assisting, some will be anesthesia, somebody will be circulator, we'll have a whole team, and everybody will help with things to do. Right? A lot of clips, a lot of ties,
So every time that they hand this to you, right, get into a habit
Yeah.
of cleaning it.
pay attention to the
I'm
type of
putting
tip
it-
it is though.
Right,
Okay.
exactly. This
It-
tip,
It's actually.
oh, it's actually, so you can just wipe this.
Yeah, the non-stick ones, you just wipe it off. Sometimes you leave a little bit of moisture on your elaborate, that'll help get it clean, but don't scratch it. It's kind of defeats the
So
purpose.
you
of
see
getting
how
a scratch pad.
he hands it back, I put it right where I need to put it, right?
Surgeons are usually not very careful about where they hand stuff back. They're just gonna be dropping stuff. This
Right.
area right here, you're gonna be working all the time to keep this area neat. You're always trying to neaten it up. Nearly all of your surgeons will want you to keep this neat. Every once in a while you run into a surgeon who,
We just grab.
well, not just that, but they'll remember where they put that and they don't want you to mess with it. But for our purposes, let's assume that we're gonna pick it all up and we're gonna put it back where it goes. Not just pick it up, put it where it goes. Because that way you'll know where to find it when you look for it later. Don't hide it from yourself. Right? Question?
Is that suction on continuously?
Yes.
Does it make
It is.
noise?
Bit, yeah. You don't really
So
notice it so much.
sometimes-
At the end of the case, when you turn it off, it's like, oh wow, I've got quiet.
So sometimes, right, the surgeon doesn't wanna hear it, they don't need it. So you see these little things here, sometimes they want, I would just do this. Right, and when they use it, you can just kinda release it, right? To me, if they don't want to hear that noise.
That's a disposable one and
Mhm. Right?
So there's suction that's piped into all the rooms. You can plug your little suction tree, plug into that, and also there's a couple of purpose-built items. Think of it like a shop vac, there's a wheel in there. Shop vac on steroids, Neptune, probably the most common one.
The circulator will, yep, we'll pull that, yep.
Sure enough.
So what happens if, let's say, you know, they hand it to you and then,
What do we do? What do we get? How do we get a new one?
Circulator.
We have plenty of these. You got a heavy scissors? Sometimes we'll, because I can't touch that, right? This whole thing's not off, no is it? Can I cut it right there?
Oh, no, that's
too low.
Well, I'm gonna cut it up. So let's
Just
say,
keep the suction.
let's say that we've got a new suction, a clean one, right? Get a new suction. A little tricky to fit in there, but it'll go.
Because you don't wanna change the whole, especially if you have stuff set up
Trying to
already.
make a little slit in the scissors.
Yeah, open it up a little bit. Trash.
Okay?
Yeah. Be careful about that though, because if you've lost too much line, you gotta pull a bunch of it up there, well then, you know, that's still not gonna work for you. 'Cause that's still, there's one
Okay.
contamination for another, that's not really good.
So does this make sense now? So now we're getting into that surgery, right?
Yep, ready to rock and roll, cut and scan. Keep it
Cut and
moving.
scan, passing instruments. Is that what this section called?
What?
Passing instruments?
I don't know if that was a separate check off or not. I didn't look at them.
I think it's next week if I remember right.
It is.
Aw.
Aw, you made a friend.
So nice. It's a friendship.
That's right,
It's a
friendship.
friendship.
It's like last year's class, sitting around making, bringing. While studying they did.
Now. Okay. So this is everyone. Everyone. Okay.
Every single one.
So there's that.
So we're gonna practice this. So between trials, facing can stay draped. You don't have to tear that down, right? But all the stuff that's on top here, put it back on your back table and/or Mayo stand. We want you starting with, you counted, you set up your Mayo, but everything else is where it is. So we want each person, gotta glove themselves, because you can't have too much practice doing that. Make your bundle, pull up and do all of that. Sharp sit there. Question?
I got one. So for check off,
That's why I said, oh.
so for check off, so we're gonna do our bundle, and then we're gonna pull up the Mayo stand, and then we're gonna pull up the back table and the ring stand.
Well, someone
Am I
should be
missing
doing that.
something?
Like a circulator could be doing that as well. Cause like me, I forgot about that. I'm a prima donna, right? They do that for me. You know, but anyway, yeah, you guys can.
Keep your surgeon busy, okay? Think about this. Can I start the surgery with what's right here? Do I have to have the back table up? I can start it with this, couldn't I? So, get these lines up. Don't worry about the back table until you get the lines up. Prioritize. Think about what you need in the order that you need it. You gotta have a scalpel, right, before you can operate. Yeah, all this stuff's gotta be in place. So you gotta get all this in place, then you gotta have this in place. Once this is here, the Mayo stands here, you can get started, give you a chance to go back and get your other stuff in the cycle.
So, again, this comes back to why we want you to have everything you need to start your case, because even if that back table is back there, I have everything I need to start my case right here. So if my circulator is busy, I'm alright, because I have everything here, except for my retractor.
There's no retractor.
There's no retractor there, right? But that is the point why we want you to have everything you need in that Mayo setup. So let's get a new.
Where are they at?
About 2/3 of the way down, about shoulder height.
Right? Everything you need is here. So even if that is back there, you don't need that right on. As long as you have everything.
Now, one thing I wanted to ask you guys about, putting the light handles, if it doesn't go all the way in the
Well, these aren't the right ones, but your light handles are custom to the fixture that you have. In
Definitely.
actuality, these would be processable, and you could get these wrapped from SPD. This could be your light handles.
Okay.
And you just get those and
Yeah.
put them on.
What did they do? Those come sterile.
Yeah, sometimes they're disposable, sometimes they're reprocessable, sometimes you have an option of either. But they will be kind of a custom fit. You have light handles for your lights, and there's a bunch of different kind of light handle covers. We even have a few different ones ourselves.
The new one?
They have to match.
Yeah, for. Thank you, sir.
Same. Oh, shoot, I